Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So they really couldn't help themselves, could they? For years now, members of the gaming industry have been making unhinged, abhorrent posts on social media to little or no consequence from the companies they work for. So unfortunately, it wasn't too surprising in wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination to see more members of the gaming industry celebrating this act of political violence and even advocating for more of it. And today we're looking at many examples. One's going to be from Bethesda, where one employee has shared gross posts and made posts of their own about political violence and advocating for more of it. And of course, what is the official response from Bethesda? To make a smug post mocking not only Charlie Kirk, but also the outrage from their customers in a post they would swiftly delete. Now, before we get into this, of course, Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, and so is Blizzard. And this is really what kicked off everything going on here. It probably shouldn't surprise you too much that we're seeing this sort of stuff from Activision Blizzard employees. In fact, about a year ago, we saw this technical artist from Blizzard saying, "Kill your local MAGA," referring to anyone who voted for Donald Trump, which obviously is a call for political violence. So it probably doesn't surprise you that over the past couple of days since the Charlie Kirk assassination, which was fueled by political violence, you have mega threads like this of Blizzard employees celebrating his assassination and advocating for more political violence. I won't go through this thread, it's very long, containing like 10 different employees at Blizzard making abhorrent comments, sharing terrible things, and advocating for even worse things. Okay? You can read this thread for yourself, but just know it's really bad. There's a lot there. And of course, people were looking at Microsoft and saying, what are you going to do about this? Because we all know Blizzard is not going to do anything about it. They seem to be completely indifferent to their employees doing stuff like this. So people are turning to Microsoft and saying, what are you going to do about this? Well, surprisingly enough, they did make a response after intense backlash for days, saying we're aware of the views expressed by a small subset of our employees regarding recent events. We take matters like this very seriously, and we are currently reviewing each individual situation. Comments celebrating violence against anyone are unacceptable and do not align with our beliefs. So they begin by saying this is a small subset of our employees, which factually speaking, yes, Microsoft, Blizzard, huge companies, right, with tons of employees, but they're trying to downplay the magnitude of having at least like 10 of their employees engaging in this behavior openly and brazenly on their professional accounts, by the way, with their links to the companies they're working with. They just don't care. And it shows that this sort of stuff has been fostered in this environment. And it's crazy. And whether or not Microsoft takes action, I highly doubt it. That's why it's important to keep the heat up. But on top of that, as you can see by this user pointing out, if you are someone who works at Microsoft or any of the companies they own, if you feel like you're not safe in your workplace because your coworker is saying these things, make an OSHA complaint. This is why this organization exists, the Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration. They're there to make sure that your employer is securing a safe workplace for you. So if you're an employee at Blizzard and you're seeing your coworkers celebrating and even advocating for political violence, and you're someone who shares the views of the person they are mocking, or your family does, or you're someone who simply condemns political violence, how would you feel safe at a company like this? And when it comes to OSHA complaints, they have to do something about it. That is the best route. But let's move over to Bethesda. Again, another company that was acquired by Microsoft in recent years. And as you can see, one of the big selling points was, of course, Starfield. And as you can see, that investment is going swimmingly. It's going swimmingly, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, just look at that beautiful lifetime concurrent player count. This right here, this drop off is like, this is what would happen if Blue Sky users could only post if they had a job. This is what would happen overnight. It's crazy. But anyways, there's a lot of other games. Bethesda and Microsoft generally, they have a ton of influence in the gaming industry. Probably everyone here has played one of their products at one point or another. And of course, they're not immune to this wave of disgusting behavior, as you can see pointed out here by Madam Savvy. A Bethesda producer is going crazy with a torrent of tweets and reposts celebrating, justifying, and encouraging political violence like we saw with Charlie Kirk. And you can see this person right here saying everything they want. Right here saying, I'm feeling fancy. Should I order fancy takeout for no reason right after the assassination? And saying, anywho, with a gif of the crab rave dance and celebration, of course. Reposting this saying, you are under no obligation to mourn the death of people who would have celebrated yours, which is totally delusional. They reposted this saying, this is why liberals can't defeat fascism. Nazism isn't a political disagreement. Of course, once again, trying to reinforce calling these people Nazis to try to justify violence against them in the eyes of the unhinged. Another repost saying, they'll ask you to mourn the deaths they mourn and no others. They'll ask you to cherish the lives they cherish and no others. They posted another one sharing this screenshot saying, white people are always like, whoa there, bud. We only support violence on a systematic level. And then they did another repost where it says the fact that they were so close to him is an indictment of their character because he was an avowed white supremacist. But you wouldn't know it from reading effing Politico, where their motto is every war plus class war, where they're of course referring to lawmakers being upset about the assassination. So in wake of this, people have turned to Bethesda and said, are you going to make a statement? Are you going to fire this employee who clearly should not be working with you, who is a stain on your reputation? Are you going to make a statement? Here was their statement. Caption, good kitty, with a quote saying, you don't care much about these fascists, do you? And this is a screenshot from the recent Indiana Jones DLC. This was their response to not only the assassination, but also the people outraged about the actions of their employee. They post this on their official gold checkmark Twitter account. And of course, this would be deleted once people actually discovered it. Now, looking at their most recent tweets, you can see people expressing their outrage. Fire this person or face consequences. Bethesda, this was your official reply after everything that happened last week. You've shown us your true colors. Don't support Xbox. Don't support Bethesda. Don't support Game Pass. Scumbags, do you think this is funny? Understand, when you give these soulless bastards money, you're funding people who want you dead and think it's funny. Your company is populated with people who clearly hate me and people like me. I'll never buy another Bethesda game, ever. And I'll agitate at every opportunity that nobody else does either. This company supports murder, by the way. Purge your company of the rots. You haven't made a game worth playing since Skyrim anyways. The F are you guys doing, man, with a reference to the deleted video that they posted. And I could go on and on and on, but at this point, it's pathetic. As of recording this video, no additional response. So not only do they have the concerns about the actions of their employee, they also have this disgusting reaction on their official social media account with 2.5 million followers. So they have layers to this now. And the most recent one with the social media post, this is like an instantly solvable response. Will it work? I don't know. But they could just hop on with a very brief statement saying, that was our intern on the social media account, made a very disgusting post. We condemn what they did. they've been removed, and we condemn political violence. How hard is that? But they're not going to do it because they don't feel the need to. They've been getting away with this stuff for years and years, and at Bethesda, Microsoft, and any of the other companies they own, they have fostered this environment for years where people feel emboldened in their company to say these disgusting things with no expectation of consequences, especially not within their own company. That's why they feel so emboldened to speak through, most times, their professional accounts with their title right in the bio. They do not care. These people are demons. They're letting you know their true colors. And for many people, this has been an eye-opening experience. And a lot of people are looking for ways to deal with this in a legal sense. And of course, filing complaints, reporting things, and trying to raise your voice. That is a good way of doing this. Not through violence or anything these losers advocate for. That is never going to be okay. And anyone who agrees on things like political violence as a means to an end is abhorrent. And apparently that is the very, I guess, controversial thing to say these days, that violence isn't the answer for political disagreement. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.